For 6 years, Jenna fought for her son, who screamed through every night while doctors dismissed her with cold phrases like, "Some children just don't respond." That quiet indifference became its own kind of villain, one that drained her hope and left her completely alone. But then came Teddy, a silent shelter puppy no one expected anything from. And he changed everything in a single night. And just wait until you hear how this moment turned into something no one, not even the experts, saw coming. Jenna Miller lived in a kind of silence that was always broken. Not the kind of silence that soothes, but the kind that lives on the edge of screaming. At 2:03 a.m., the familiar sound came, fists hitting the wall, a door rattling in its frame. Her son's cries, raw, rhythmic, wordless, echoing through the small house like a siren no one else could hear. But Jenna always heard it. She heard everything. For the past 13 months, she hadn't slept more than 2 or 3 hours at a time. Neither had Caleb. Her 6-year-old boy had been diagnosed with severe nonverbal autism when he was 4. Since then, their world had slowly narrowed. Playdates disappeared. Babysitters stopped calling back. Even family visits became too difficult. Now, it was just the two of them. Always the two of them. The house they lived in wasn't always quiet, but it was painfully still. Once, it had been full of songs and toys and bright paper streamers left over from birthdays. Now, the walls were bare, the lights dimmed, and the floors often littered with the things Caleb had thrown or broken in frustration. The living room had become more of a safe zone than a space to live. Nothing had corners. Nothing had glass. Jenna had learned to pad the world for her son, but no one padded it for her. Caleb didn't speak. He didn't like to be touched, not even by his mother. He rarely looked people in the eye. But what crushed Jenna most wasn't what he couldn't do. It was what she feared he might never feel. Joy, calm, safety. She tried everything: speech therapy, occupational therapy, sensory diets, weighted blankets, visual schedules, alternative communication apps. The list of medications they'd cycled through filled an entire notebook. Doctors were kind at first, but over time their optimism thinned. One neurologist finally looked her straight in the eye and said gently, "Some children just don't respond to intervention." Jenna nodded politely, but as soon as she stepped into the parking lot, her knees buckled beside her car door. She clutched the steering wheel like it was the only thing holding her upright and let the tears come. Not just because of what he said, but because, in the depths of her own exhaustion, she feared he might be right. Her husband, Michael, hadn't stayed long after the diagnosis. At first, it was just arguments, then long silences. Eventually, he stopped coming home at all. He loved their son. Jenna believed that. But he didn't know how to live inside the storm. And when he left, he didn't look back. So Jenna did it alone. Every day, she woke up before the sun to manage Caleb's needs, feeding, dressing, preparing for a world that often overwhelmed him. And every night, when the rest of the world went to sleep, she sat outside his bedroom door, on the hallway floor, in the dark, listening. Caleb's cries came like clockwork, loud, frantic, a tangle of fear and confusion he couldn't put into words, and all Jenna could do was sit there, not touch him, not hold him, just listen and wait. Her back pressed against the wall, arms wrapped around her knees, she whispered the same quiet plea each night, over and over, like a mantra she didn't really believe in anymore. "Please, just one quiet night, just one." But it never came, not yet. The suggestion came near the end of a particularly difficult session. Caleb had spent the entire hour curled in the corner, covering his ears, eyes shut tight. Leah, his occupational therapist, sat quietly beside him, not pushing, just waiting for the third session in a row. She was young, with a gentle voice, and sleeves always rolled up like she was ready to help lift something heavy. After packing up her things, Leah turned to Jenna in the hallway. "You know," she began, hesitating, "this might sound strange, but have you ever considered a dog?" Jenna blinked, caught off guard. A dog? A shelter dog, Leah clarified softly, sensing Jenna's hesitation. I've worked with a few families who've seen real changes. Some kids respond to animals in ways we don't fully understand. Not all, but sometimes it's enough to open a door. For a second, Jenna wanted to dismiss it. She was too tired for new ideas, too guarded for hope. But Leah wasn't selling a miracle. She wasn't promising transformation, just planting a seed. And maybe because her tone was so careful, or maybe because it was all Jenna hadn't tried yet, the thought stayed with her. That night, after Caleb finally wore himself out and fell asleep clutching his weighted blanket, Jenna sat on the edge of her bed with her laptop open. She typed local animal shelters into the search bar, expecting to close the tab after 2 minutes. But she kept scrolling. Most of the dogs looked wrong, too big, too excitable, too much. Jenna didn't need more chaos. She barely had energy left to make breakfast. She was ready to give up, until one picture stopped her. Kennel 12. The photo was simple. A small golden puppy with short fur and serious, almost human eyes. He wasn't playing or barking at the camera. He just sat still, head slightly tilted, looking straight ahead. Teddy, the caption read, 2 months old, found under a bridge, quiet temperament, needs patience. There was something about those words, quiet temperament, needs patience, as if he had been written for her life. Jenna didn't tell anyone the next morning. She simply got in the car, input the shelter's address into her GPS, and drove. Her hands shook on the steering wheel. The shelter was loud, full of sharp echoes and the sharp smell of cleaning chemicals. Dogs barked wildly as she walked past their kennels. Big ones, little ones, some jumping at the bars, some pacing in endless loops. But when she reached Kennel 12, the noise seemed to fade. There he was, smaller than she expected, golden fur, thin frame, sitting in the back corner of the enclosure, watching her, not barking, not moving. "Hi," Jenna whispered. Teddy lifted his head. A staff member walked up behind her. "He's different," they said. "Barely makes a sound. Doesn't really play, probably still adjusting. He was found alone near a bridge. No microchip, no tags. Scared of loud noises. Honestly, he just kind of waits." Jenna knelt, careful not to startle him. She reached her hand toward the bars, expecting him to pull back. But instead, Teddy stood, walked straight to her, and placed his small nose gently against her fingertips. And for the first time in what felt like forever, someone reached for her. Not because they were trying to fix her, not because they needed something, just because they could. Her throat tightened. She looked at the staff and said quietly, "What do I need to do to take him home?" The house was quiet when Jenna brought Teddy home. Caleb didn't react. He was in his usual place, curled in the corner of his room, rocking slowly, eyes unfocused. Jenna placed the crate by the couch and told herself not to expect anything. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. She didn't introduce them. Just let Teddy explore, watching him move with cautious curiosity. He didn't bark, didn't whine. He seemed to understand that this house had its own kind of silence. At midnight, the screaming began, sharp, familiar, and immediate. Jenna reached for her robe out of habit, already preparing for another long night. But then she noticed Teddy. The puppy had stood up. Without prompting, he walked down the hallway and gently pushed Caleb's door open with his nose. Jenna's breath caught. Fear gripped her. What if Caleb panicked? What if he got overwhelmed? But she followed, heart pounding. What she saw in that room stopped her cold. Caleb wasn't crying anymore. He sat still, eyes locked on Teddy, watching the little dog approach. No fear, just surprise, pure and wide-eyed. Teddy sat in front of him, quiet, still. Then, slowly, Caleb reached out and touched the puppy's head. A moment passed, then another. Caleb lay down beside him, his arms sliding gently around the dog's soft body, and for the first time in over a year, he fell asleep. Just like that. No screaming, no pills, no pain, just silence, just peace. Jenna slid to the floor, tears falling freely. She didn't pray for a miracle anymore. She whispered one word instead, quiet, shaky, but full of something she thought she'd lost. "Thank you."